Good evening, SMA, and welcome to round 8 of the Motorsport South Africa Cup 2025. With 7 rounds completed, we are entering the last quarter of this exciting championship where every decision could be make or break for the drivers as we enter the business end of the season. I'm your main host, Flawed Genius Gaming, taking you through this intense encounter, but looking to settle my nerves, bringing a bit of decorum to proceedings. I'm joined once again by my legendary American co-commentator, Box. How are you, sir? And great to have you back alongside me.
Hey, thank you, Flawed. Hello, chat, everybody. I am once again excited to be here. We got a great race in store for you today, as always. Yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait. It's a track that everybody knows and love. It's notorious for some track limit penalties, but we'll get into some more of those details a little bit later.
Yes, we will indeed. Great to have you back alongside me. But yes, before we get into the race details, it's important to shout out our sponsors for this season, as without their support, none of this would be possible. So the MSA Cup 2025 is sponsored by TGSC Cape Town Golf Academy, the hotbed of nurturing young potential to golfing greatness, an academy with a breadth of history for producing talent on the world stage. If you feel you have what it takes to become South Africa's next global star, TGSC is the place to be. We are also sponsored by simmotorsportassociation.com, South Africa's haven for all your sim racing equipment, selling only the highest recommended products from the likes of Fanatec and Moser, as well as racing cockpits for that perfect driving experience. Contact JP for all his helpful and friendly advice, and if you're still not convinced, book yourself a tour of the shop and test drive many of their sim rigs available so you get the full sim experience and leaving behind any doubts. Link is in the description below, and thank you so much to our official sponsors for the 2025 season of the MSA Cup. We are also in association with Motorsport South Africa, the only place for official GT7 leagues on behalf of South Africa, and Sim Motorsport Association, growing the sport together. Please contact Robin Williams, our MSA GT7 promoter, for further details. Email links will be in the description below and on our YouTube homepage. Okay, so let's take a recap on today and the final races of the season in the MSA Cup 2025. So we are 7 weeks down with just 3 weeks remaining, and we take our attention to Spielberg in Austria for the round 8 of the MSA Cup at Red Bull Ring, coming up in a few moments time. This is then followed up next week for a trip to neighbouring Italy for the Cathedral of Speed for our last Group 3 race at the home of Monza, which then brings us to the grand finale of the MSA Cup for the second of our special events, where we head to France for Le Mans. Car still to be decided, but will be held on August the 11th, which will declare our new champion for the MSA Cup 2025. So that is the roadmap from now to the end of the season. But Box, please explain to us the details for tonight's race.
Sure thing, Flawed. So today's race is going to take place at Red Bull Ring. This was built in 1969, where it was initially known as the Oostenrijk Ring. It was rebuilt in 1997, and it was renamed to the A1 Ring. Purchased by Red Bull co-founder Dietrich Mateschitz in 2004, where it was eventually renamed to what it is now known today as the Red Bull Ring. It's located in Spielberg, Austria. It is a 2.68 mile or 4.37 kilometer circuit. Runs clockwise in direction with 10 corners, 7 to the right and 3 to the left. From the start finish line to turn 3, the drivers are going to face a 63.3 meter incline, which is approximately the same height as the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Pit time from entry to exit with a tire change and a slight fuel refill is about 37 seconds. This track debuted in GT6 with 2 layouts. There's a short circuit, but the drivers are going to be on the full circuit today. It hosts events in real life for Formulas 1 through 4, Porsche Super Cup, TCR Europe Touring Cars, and MotoGP. And fun fact about this track, this is actually the first track in Formula 1 history to host 2 championship scoring points races in a single F1 season. And now for today's race details, we will start with a 10-minute quali. The race start is a grid start with a false start check. The tire multiplier is set to 5x and the fuel multiplier is set at 3x. Refueling is set at 7 liters per second. The driver's going to have to tackle 33 laps of this circuit, and there is a 2 compound requirement, but there are no required tires, so drivers are free to use whatever tires they use as long as they use 2 different sets of compounds for at least 1 lap each. And for today's car, Godzilla has returned to his home in Tokyo, and the drivers will now be in the Mercedes-AMG GT3 2020 model. Under mid-speed bot, this car has 460 horsepower, weighs 2,987 pounds, or 1,355 kilograms. This car replaced the 2016 model and is now the most recent Mercedes GT3 model in the game. This is the 4th of 5 Group 3 cars that has been added to GT7 at launch. And the model, it features a 6.3 liter V8 engine. And the version that we see in Gran Turismo, it's actually the Sprint version. But if you visit GT Auto, you can actually equip this car with endurance lights. All right, back to you, Flawed.
Thank you, Two. Some very, very interesting facts of the track and the car. But now it's time to talk us through the results and the review of the MSA Cup Round 7 at Autopolis. So let's take a look. This is the review of round 7 of the MSA Cup, and we was at Autopolis for what was a very wet and tricky conditions for the drivers. It was TNR Levitius and teammate Chaz who led us underway for this 27-lap race as the drivers jostled for position. Puma Nutcap starting from the back of the grid, making up 3 positions with a lightning start as he was trying to make up for lost time from his poor qualifying. Later on that lap, TNR Chaz, who started from P2 on the grid, came under increasing pressure from VSR Giller as they went into the hairpin. Chaz on the apex struggled to get on the power, with Giller hanging it around the outside. They were side by side going down the roller coaster straight, with neither wanting to back out. Giller had the advantage going into the next turn with the inside line, eventually snatching Chaz's position away from him to move up into P2. On the next lap leading up to turn 1, Kennels in 8th position was looking for an opportunity to pass, went for an ambitious move down the outside, but it was disaster for him, getting on the brakes too late and ran out of road, losing multiple positions to fall to the back of the grid. At the same turn on lap 6, Puma Nutcap was looking to pass TNR Lightning Lorry by performing the switchback. Getting on the brakes slightly earlier, he went from outside to the inside of turn 1. However, squeezed Lightning Lorry too much onto the wet line, with him on the slick tyres, lost full control of his car as he sank to the back of the grid. And then on lap 9, turn 1 again, it was Chaz's turn to slip off the circuit as he looked for a gap to get past the drivers in front. Went too deep on the wet side of the circuit, aquaplaned off to lose 3 positions in 1 corner. This would be a sign of things to come for Chaz after it looked so rosy for him from the start of the race. The following lap at the same corner, we would see TNR Levitis try to force a move on VSR Wolfie for the race lead, but with Wolfie squeezing Levitis to the outside on the wet part of the circuit, with Levitis also going in a little hot, would lose control of his car as he sunk down to 7th position. On the same lap, with TNR Levitis out of the picture, it was TNR Panic Potato and VSR Wolfie who were very close at the top end of the grid. Wolfie defending for his life, trying to hold on to first. As we approached the first hairpin, Panic Potato performed an incredible move with the old switcheroo to power past Wolfie to go into the race lead on lap 10. At the end of lap 12, it was the beginning of the end for TNR Chaz's race as the drivers in front filtered into the pit lane to change onto the wet tyres. With the rain starting to lash down, Chaz decided to take a gamble by running an extra lap on the slicks. But by turn 10, that decision bit him on the backside as his slick tyres couldn't handle the amount of surface water that had accumulated on the track, and he approached the next turn with that bad decision that had come to fruition as he spun off the circuit, losing all hope. And a few corners later, the wet runners caught up and passed him as he struggled to keep the car on the circuit as he trickled his way back to the pit lane. On lap 14, TNR Levitis desperately trying to salvage his race from his earlier incident, closed the gap to championship rival VSR Richard for the fight for P2. But as they approached the second hairpin, it was a desperate lunge from Levitis down the inside. However, was too late on the brakes as he ran deep into the corner. Richard, anticipating this, switched back on Levitis to reclaim second position. However, on the following lap at turn 1, TNR Levitis wouldn't be denied, used the slipstream to his advantage with VSR Richard defending hard on the inside. Levitis would have to do it the hard way by making it stick on the outside, but he completed the move to perfection, moving up to second. And with VSR Richard under immense pressure from TNR Panic Potato at turn 5, Panic Potato used Levitis' move as inspiration to him, performed the same move around the outside by getting later on the brakes and holding his car on the outside. Richard had to give him the space, and eventually he would power pass Richard to take that third position away from him. On lap 24, Levitis clawed back a 6-second lead JDJ held before the last change of tyres. Levitis chose the softs over JDJ's mediums, who was looking faster at this point. It was only a matter of time before an opportunity arose for him, because by the time they got to the second hairpin, Levitis was swarming all over JDJ, hunting for that race lead. Knowing his softs were dying, Levitis knew it was now or never as opportunities was running out for him. He'd have to do it the hard way if he was to succeed, but succeed he did around the outside with little room to spare. It was one of the most incredible moves ever seen, which could define his championship. It was also great sportsmanship from JDJ, affording Levitis the space to perform the move of the championship. And so TNR Levitis was able to hold off VSR JDJ for the race win. JDJ for a close second, and third going to TNR Panic Potato. Fourth across the line was VSR Wolfie, and a disappointing fifth for VSR Richard, followed by teammate Giller in sixth. Fighting his way back to seventh was VSR Fish, with teammate Nitro Merlin coming home in eighth. And in ninth was TNR Latari, clawing his way back to 10th was FGR Kennels. In 11th was Puma Neil, and after killing his tyres, Puma Nutcap finishes in 12th. TNR Chaz Disaster ended in 13th, and the last to come across the line was TNR Lightning Lorry. So that was how things shaped up at Autopolis, but how does that affect things in the point standings after round 7? Let's take a look. So a few altercations after our round 7 race at Autopolis changed things around with the race results and the point standings going forward. VSR Richard is now awarded with 3rd position from the last round. This is due to a DQ handed to TNR Levitius and VSR Wolfie, who receive 0 points. This means VSR Richard extends his lead at the top to 9 points over TNR Levitius, who takes that as a dropped round. He is still in 2nd place with 2,363 points, but VSR JDJ, now awarded with the race victory, closes the gap to said driver to just 8 points, lying in 3rd. And with TNR Panic Potato now awarded a 2nd position in the race, he climbs up 1 spot to 4th, with teammate Papaya Racer, aka Chaz, losing ground to him with that disastrous 13th in the race, although now promoted to an 11th place result, holds 5th place in the championship. In 6th, it's VSR Fish on 2,308 points, just 8 points in front of teammate Giller in 7th, who grabbed an excellent 4th position after the DQs. In 8th, we have Puma Nil with 2,284 points, and rising up a position to 9th is VSR Nitro Merlin on 2,272 points, who is just 3 points in front of MGR Kennels in 10th. This also means all the drivers downwards to P13 rise up 1 position, with TNR Latari in 11th, TNR Lightning Lorry in 12th, and Puma Nutcap in 13th, as with his DQ, VSR Wolfie finds himself at the foot of the table in 14th. It's worth mentioning though, the 2nd of the drop rounds will be put into play at the end of tonight's race, which will change things somewhat for many of the drivers. But tonight is a crucial race for those fighting for honours, as the top 3 will be awarded with a nice prize come the end of the season. Best of luck to all the drivers tonight, where we have a 10-minute qualification awaiting us ahead of this 33-lap race here at the Red Bull Ring for round 8 of the MSA Cup. We'll be back in a few moments' time. Okay, so drivers just doing their final practice and warm-up laps ahead of this 10-minute qualifying we have at the Red Bull Ring. As I forget to turn on the game sound there we go. We've got a very, very fascinating race here at I guess we call it the penalty haven of Red Bull Ring. But what are your thoughts on this racetrack and this combination as we are now using the Mercedes AMG GT3 car, Tusum?
Well, in regards to the cars themselves, with a new car in the season comes some new liveries, and I gotta say, these liveries look absolutely amazing. I really like the what's the word I'm looking for? The camaraderie of the VSR team. They all have similarly covered liveries, but they all have the names and logos on them just to separate them from themselves just a little bit. But yeah, I think they look really good. As far as this track, I mean, I've said it, you've said it. Everyone who's played Gran Turismo knows it. This track is infamous for handing out penalties left and right. So, I mean, over the course of 33 laps, the drivers are really going to have to buckle down, nail their entry and exit points, and do whatever they can to avoid those penalties, because, you know, they start adding up. It could be the difference between the top 3 and just a step off of the podium.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, it's definitely going to throw up a few surprises, I think, Tusum, because yes, we're on round 8 of the MSA Cup. We've just got 3 races to go, so every position, every move, every decision they make on circuit is going to be crucial now as they look to finish as high up as possible. VSR Richard, that we're on board with at the moment, he's currently leading the championship over TNR Levitius by 9 points. Now, Now 9 points isn't too significant, but VSR Richard will be knowing that he needs to be at least picking up podium every race to really try to hold on to the championship lead. But qualifying is just about to get underway. We've got a 10-minute qualifying ahead of us, and yes, the drivers will be using the soft tyres here, but it's going to be interesting actually, Tosun, because 2 mandatory tyres need to be picked for the race. Now, there was something that I learnt which is quite unusual, but apparently the drivers can use a different compound on the fronts to the rears. That is actually allowed in this race, so a bit of experimentation going into this round, and it's going to be interesting whether or not the drivers do pick that strategy, or they just go full out on hards, full out on mediums, or full out on softs. Now obviously Red Bull Ring as well is a particular circuit with a lengthy pit lane, so they don't want to be making too many pit stops, because that is going to be costing them a lot of time. So it could be the case that they're going to be using the mediums and the hards, but you know, the MSA Cup so far has thrown up a few surprises along the way, so it's going to be interesting to see what kind of strategies they take into this race, Tucson.
Yeah, I believe it was Richard at Dragon Trail. He put together a really solid 2-stop strategy when everybody thought there was going to be a 1-stop race. And, you know, he won that race comfortably. So I wouldn't be too surprised if someone does come out with a 2-stop strategy. You know, it's 5X tire wear, so it's pretty high, especially for this circuit. Red Bull Ring isn't the most demanding on tires, but still, we're gonna see a lot of wear if anybody is on those soft tires. One thing to keep in mind is that there's 10X time, so we're starting, I believe, in the late morning. But towards the end of the race, we're going to see that sunset, the temperatures get cool, and you know, if somebody saved those soft tires for last, they might be able to get some pretty good longevity out of them.
Yes, indeed. As we ride on board with VSR Gillard, then he will be the first one to come across the line. Now, obviously, the Red Bull Ring being quite a short lap, so I do expect the times to be very, very close together, and it's really just about knitting together every single corner, not go too wide, because it's very, very easy to pick up a penalty. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. Maybe on this lap, maybe it's about setting in a banker lap to make sure you've got a lap on the board, and then pushing pedal to the metal for the last part of qualifying. But Gillard just about to come across the checkered line now, or the start-finish line, should I say, and he's going to set a 1:30.3. JDJ is going to go into the 1:29s with a 29.7, and then Kennels sets a 1:30.3. Chaz with a 1:30.3 as well. VSR Wolfie up into the top 3 with a 30.1, and then VSR Richard up into second position, 1:29.9. In fact, third place now, because Levitius is on pole position with a 1:28.8. Wow. Levitius certainly setting his stalls out early, and with a phenomenal quali lap on his first attempt there, Tucson.
That's 9/10 faster than JDJ with a 29.7. When he finished his lap, I saw he was right on the back of I believe it was Latari. So maybe he just got like some amazing slipstream throughout that entire lap. But that 28.8, that is going to be quite the lap to try to take down.
Yes, indeed. Well, we're only 4 minutes into this qualifying session, so I would imagine for those that have either got penalties or those that you know, have gone a little bit slower, they may just dive into the pits here to change onto new boots to try to eke out a little bit more time. And certainly, I don't think many people will be resetting to the pits. I think that they'll be trying to run down the fuel as much as possible to really eke out a little bit more speed, a little bit more acceleration out of the cars. So JDJ and Latari Racing coming into the pits, Neil also into the pits, and Wolfie. So Levitius is going to come across the line again, but he's going to go slower. So 1 minute 31.6, looks like he was held up. He does reset into the pits though, of course, maybe affording that luxury because of course he's that much quicker than everyone else at the moment, as Nutcap sets a really good time of a 1 minute 29.8 to move up into 4th position. So good going from our 14-year-old. Nitro Merlin is 7th at the minute with a 1 minute 30.2. Lightning Lorry just behind him, just a 10th down actually in P8 with that 1 minute 30.3. No, I'm wrong. I think it's nearly a 1 minute 31. No, I'm wrong. Nearly a 1 minute 30, sorry. I can't do my maths, apparently. Latari Racing is in the 9th position. And Wolfie just 8,000th of a second down on Latari's time in P10. Then we got Virsar Gillard in P11, Virsar Fish in P12, Chaz in P13. Again, really shocked to see him so far down, but perhaps got a penalty on his push lap, and maybe he's going to try to be that little bit more careful on this lap to put a time on the board, a proper time on the board, that is, with Kennels down in P14. But we still got 3.5 minutes to go, so a long way to go. It looks like quite a few drivers are on their out laps. JDJ just starting his hot lap now, Nutcap on the out lap. So I'm just trying to find a driver that will be more closer to the start finish line. But what are your thoughts on the time so far though, Tucson?
Yeah, with Levitius being the outlier, P2 to all the way down to P13, they're separated by about, what's that, about 7/10. So as you said earlier, it's a short track and it's going to produce some really close quality times. It's really going to be interesting to see how this turns out in these last couple of laps. The drivers are going to have about 2 more hot laps left before the end of this session.
Yes, indeed. So who is at the front of this queue? That is Latari Racing. However, just picked up that half a second penalty, and it's as we just mentioned, so easy to pick up them penalties. So that is going to ruin his lap for the time being. But JDJ will be the next one to come across the line, I do believe. Currently in 3rd, 9/10 down on Levitius's pole position time of a 1 minute 28.8. Can JDJ improve? That is the question. As he comes through the final corner, very close to track limits there, he comes across the line and doesn't improve. So Panic Potato still in P2, 7.5 tenths down on Levitius. Oh, Levitius just in front. Panic Potato does improve though to a 1 minute 29.2, 3.5 tenths off of Levitius's time in 2nd position. Where is Nutcap? Oh, Nutcap's been replaced by Puma Racing Neil, who just sets a 1 minute 29.7. So good time there from Puma Racing Neil. Of course, last time we was at the Red Bull Ring was actually in the Aston Martin Valkyries in the SMA Season 1, and Puma Racing Neil did fantastic in that race, so clearly likes Red Bull Ring as we ride on board with Puma Nutcap now. Can he improve? Not quite. Remains in P5. VSR Richard down in 6th position right now, and in danger of really giving the advantage to Levitius as he comes into the pits. Looks like he's satisfied with his qualifying lap time, so we're going to remain on board with VSR Richard then, unless we got Neil just behind. Is there any others that I should look out for? It's Latari Racing just about to come across the start-finish line. Can he improve? No, he can't. And JDJ does improve, though, to a 1 minute 29.5, but it looks like that is where he's going to remain. When we look at Nutcap, is he going to... I don't know if he's going to have enough time. I think he may just about have enough time as VSR Wolfie moves up into 5th position with that 1 minute 29.8. It looked like Kennels did improve, and it looked like Neil also improved and remains in 4th position. But it looks like with Kennels, though, he's going to start at the back of the grid in P14. Where is Nutcap? P7. He is coming around the penultimate corner now. Has he cut track limits there? Oh, it looks like he may have done. But as he comes across the line now, he doesn't improve. He will remain in 7th position. So with just one driver remaining, he's not going to make it across the line. So we'll be back in a few moments' time. Okay, so starting on pole position on row 1 is Levitis with that amazing time of a 1 minute 28.8. 2.5 tenths quicker than TNR Panic Potato. He's going to be starting alongside him in 2nd position. On row 2, we've got VSR JDJ, and he's starting from P3 with Puma Racing Neil joining him alongside him in 4th position. In P5, we've got VSR Fish, and his teammate VSR Wolfie is going to be joining him on row 3 from 6th position. In 7th position, we've got Puma Nutcap starting on row 4. Joining him is VSR Richard, our championship leader, starting from P8. In 9th position on row 5, we've got VSR Nitro Merlin. Joining alongside him is TNR's Lightning Lorry. He'll be starting from 10th. On row 6, we've got TNR Chaz. Joining him will be his teammate Latari, starting from 12th position. On row 7, we've got VSR Giller, and then at the back of the pack, joining him in 14th position will be Kennels. So what are your thoughts on that qualifying session, Tucson?
Yeah, the biggest surprise for me is VSR Richard. Starting down in P8, he's really going to have his work cut out for him in this race to try to keep his championship hopes alive. Levin Potato, they're two really fast drivers. I imagine we might see a little bit of teamwork for them at the start of the race. I'd be willing to bet they're going to start on the same tire compound, whatever that might be. But yeah, I mean, Richard, like I said, he did that really amazing 2-stop in at Dragon Trail, so maybe he's got some more tricks up his sleeve for this race today.
Yes, indeed, as I forget to turn on my mic there. Yes, it's definitely going to be a very fascinating race, and yes, this is quali, but anything can happen in this 33-lap race here at the Red Bull Ring. We'll be back in a few moments' time. Okay, so we're on the grid start now, and it is Levi and Panic Potato starting on the front rows. We got 5 red lights. Lights are out and away we go as we start round 8 of the MSA Cup at Red Bull Ring, and Levicius gets a lightning start, and it looks like Paddy Potato has lost 3 positions from the grid start then as JDJ, Puma Racing Nil and VSR Fish get past him in one corner there. So I don't know if he had a jump, a false start even, but Nutcat picks up a half-second penalty. He's already moved up 1 position as well into P6. VSR Richard up 1 position to P7. VSR Wolfie in 8th. Chaz in 10th. 10th. He was initially in 9th. Nitro Merlin up the inside of him to move up into P9. It looks like penalties galore at the moment. Chaz picks up a half-a-second penalty for good measure as they duke it out for position into Slosh Gold. It looks like Chaz, no, he's not able to hold on to P9 because Nitro Merlin is up the inside of him to move up into P9. Then we got Lasari Racing and Lightning Lorry side by side, P11, P12, VSR Gillo in 13th, and Kennels at the back of the grid. But let's go to the top of the grid. So Levi leads by 1 second already. JDJ is going to take that half-a-second penalty now with VSR Fish as well. So Puma Racing Nil will move up into 2nd position then, and just about gets in front of him. Just like that. So Puma Racing Nil up into P2. JDJ down into P3. Panic Potato, meanwhile, has moved up into P4 ahead of VSR Fish, who obviously did take that half-a-second penalty. VSR Richard is up into P6 with VSR Wolfie moving up a position as well. VSR Wolfie 8th. Nutcat looks like he's made a mistake, or did he have a penalty? I'm not 100% sure. I have got the replay saved, so I will have a look at that. Kennels has moved up 2 positions as well with Lightning Lorry at the back of the pack in P14. So something has happened to Lightning Lorry, but Chaz looking to send it up the inside of Kennels. Oh, there's a slight door banging between the 2 of them, but Chaz does move up into P12 ahead of Kennels, who moves down into 13th position. But what a forensic start we've had so far in the opening lap and a half here, Tuzan.
Yeah, and the interesting things that you mentioned this earlier on in the broadcast is that the drivers are allowed to use 2 different compounds for the start of the race. And I'm trying to document all of them, but there are actually a few drivers that have opted to do that. For example, we've got Neil and JDJ both running racing hards in the front and racing mediums in the rear. Now, if I'm not mistaken, the game will only consider one of those tire types. So when they come in for their pit, they will still have to switch to one of the other 2 tire types that is not displayed in game.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, I'm just cycling through the grid now, and I can see it all too clear. Yeah, racing hards and racing mediums. So racing hards on the front, racing mediums on the rears. Of course, with the AMG, it does tend to wear out the front tyres quicker than the rears, so that would make perfect sense. As Nutcat goes a little bit wide there, got a little bit scribbly on the exit, and he picks up a half-a-second penalty for his trouble, so he will have to serve that at the end of this lap. VSR Nitro Merlin keeping in close proximity of him in 9th position. We've got VSR Gilla and Latari racing side by side. There was a little bit of a coming together there, and in fact, who is that? That is Pure Racing Nil down into P13. So I've got a replay saved. Let's have a look and see what happened to Pure Racing Nil. So Pure Racing Nil was in a 2nd position. He was on the outside of turn number 3. Panic Potato and Nil went into each other. In fact, I will have to have a look on Panic Potato. I think it was Panic Potato on Nil that made Nil spin. So let's quickly have a look at that replay yet again to get a good on board with what happened there. So Panic Potato was looking for a path through. Puma Racing Nil went to the outside. There's a little bit of contact, and Puma Racing Nil goes for a spin and moves down into the back of the pack.
Got to move for P2. Panic Potato just overtook JDJ on the front stretch to take P2. Now almost 5.5 seconds behind Levitius.
Wow, it's certainly been very fast and frantic at the start of this race. JDJ is sizing up an opportunity on Panic Potato to come back straight back at him, but decides to tuck back in. Let's have a look on the replay and see how that maneuver was performed. And as they came across the start-finish line, Panic Potato just had a good run on JDJ. JDJ let him through, and Panic Potato up into second position. Okay, so back on board with Panic Potato. JDJ 0.6 of a second behind him in P3, and then we've got a train of VSR drivers in Fish in P4, Richard in P5, and Wolfie in P6. Then it looks like Richard is looking to try and hound his way back past Fish, and he moves up into P4 there. So it looks like Fish did allow him the space for Richard to get past him, and of course this is going to be very important for Richard to try and start climbing up positions, because with that 9-point lead over Levitius at the moment, if they remain how they are, Levitius will go back into the championship lead there. So yeah, VSR Richard will be looking to try and close in on JDJ. Now interestingly, yeah, Richard also using the racing hards and the racing mediums at the same time, so this could be a strategy.
Sorry to cut you off. Well, we got a move for P9. Gilla is going around the outside of Latari, and Chad's also going to try around the outside. Oh, Kennels tried to get in there, but he went a little bit too deep. So Gilla is now up into P9. Chaz is in P10. Latari has just lost 2 positions in the course of just 1 corner.
All right, let's. Well, I was going to get on the replay, but it looks like Chaz is going to try and challenge Gilla, but he's going to be shown the outside. But it could be the old switcheroo from Chaz. And it looks like he's gone up the inside, but Gilla will have the inside line for the next turn, and it looks like Gilla is going to hold off Chaz for the time being to remain in 9th position. But all this squabbling is going to introduce a lot of the cars from behind us. We've got Chaz just behind, Latari, Kennels, and Puma Racing Neil, who's starting to close in on the pack, but he's got a ½ second penalty. So he's going to lose ground to the pack in front of him. Kennels and Latari Racing side by side. Latari Racing is going to take that position away from Kennels to move up into P11, and he'll be looking to chase down Chaz. Actually, interestingly, Latari Racing on the all hard tyres as he gets a bit squirrely on the exit, and there's Kennels up the inside. Is he going to send it on Latari? No, he's going to tuck back in as we enter turn 1. Let's have a look on that move from VSR Gilla as he performed a fantastic overtake at turn 3. So Gilla was on the outside of Latari Racing. Latari Racing had the inside line, but as they approached the turn, it looks like Gilla got later on the brakes, and Latari, as Kennels runs off wide in the background. But yeah, a bit of a strange moment there, because I would have thought Latari would have been favourite for that move, but no, Gilla makes it stick on the outside to move up into P9. Okay, so going back up to the top of the grid then, Levi has developed a 6.1 second lead over his teammate Panic Potato. Both Levi and Panic Potato choosing to use the all medium tyres at the start here. Then we've got JDJ in 3rd position, 1.1 seconds behind in 3rd, with VSR Richard just a second behind in 4th position. Then we got VSR Fish in P5 with VSR Nitro Merlin in the top 6. Then we got VSR Gilla, who is leading this train from behind. He is 4.4 seconds behind Nitro Merlin, but he is just over ½ a second in front of Chaz, who's looking to home in on the VSR driver. VSR Wolfie though is in close pursuit of him in 9th position, and then we've got Nutcap in 10th position as well, just behind. So yeah, it's very, very close between about 7 drivers right now, and anything can happen. There's one driver in particular, Nutcap, was looking to go up the inside of VSR Wolfie, and he does switch to the inside now. And can Nutcap make it stick? Oh, Wolfie goes sideways, just about saves it, but Latari Race is going to get past him, and it looks like Kennels is also going to slingshot his way past him into P11, so a big moment for VSR Wolfie as he sinks down 3 positions into P12, with Puma Racing Neil sniffing the back bumper of VSR Wolfie in 13th, but you cannot take your eyes off of this for 1 second. It is so close between all 7 drivers, with Lightning Lorry still 7.7 seconds behind in 14th position. But with that said, anything changed? I don't think I've seen anything change here so far, Tusum, at the top of the grid.
Yeah, I'm keeping an eye on the top 7. Everything's still kind of just staying as is of right now. Potato did serve a half-second penalty on the last lap. Lost a bit of time to Levidius and JDJ. He's now just about a second behind. But yeah, still all line of stern up in the front here.
Right. Okay. So whilst it's a little bit more spread out at the top, then we should have a look at the drivers behind. So. But just to give you a recap, we've got VSR Richard P4, Fish in P5, Nitro Merlin in P6, and then there's Giller, who is just in front of Chaz in P8. Looks like Nutcap has made a move on a particular driver, with Kennels 10th with a half-a-second penalty. Latari Racing P11. There's VSR Wolfie trying to challenge Latari Racing. He's going to be shown the outside though, and VSR Wolfie is not going to perform the old switcheroo there, but he does know that the driver in front of him has got that half-a-second penalty, so he should be able to take that position away from Latari Racing in the next half a minute or so, as they are just about approaching the penalty zone there. So it's looking like Kennels and Latari Racing are going to be serving their penalties now, so it's going to be interesting if Wolfie can overtake Kennels for that 10th position, but Kennels is going to take that inside line. Wolfie's going to be shown the outside, and there was a tiny bit of door contact, and VSR Wolfie around the outside into P10. Kennels backs off and then and picks up a half-a-second penalty to boot. So I'm not exactly sure what happened there with Kennels, why he decided to back off, but he ended up getting the double whammy there of not only losing a position but picking up a half-a-second penalty to him.
Yeah, I don't know if maybe he backed off to try to avoid the game giving you a penalty, because sometimes if you lift after going out wide, the game will show some mercy and not give you that penalty, but it looks like he avoided that. It's hard to say for sure, but that might have been what he probably tried to pull off.
Okay, let's have a look on the replay now then and see the inputs of Kennels then. So Kennels... it looks like... Oh, no, he ran wide out of the last turn, and that's what picked him up the half-a-second penalty. So, yeah, costly error there for MGR Kennels then. But he is within half a second of Wolfie. However, he's going to lose that and maybe lose the slipstream to VSR Wolfie as well. So, and it may be that Latari Racing is going to take full advantage there to move past Kennels into that P11. As Kennels does serve that penalty, and there's Latari Racing that shoots past Kennels into P11, and Kennels is going to be under pressure now from Puma Racing Neil, who has closed to the back of him within just under 0.4 of a second then, and Lightning Lorry has closed that gap a little bit. He's got damage though. Lightning Lorry has damage to the front of his car. 5.7 seconds is the gap, but this is going to be hurting him, I would imagine, here, Tusa.
Yeah, he's actually been carrying that damage since, I believe, lap 2, and I'm sure trying to pit for that, to repair that damage, it would completely ruin his pit strategy, so he's just out there trying to minimize the damage until he gets to his appropriate pit window, whenever that may be.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, it is not looking good for him, unfortunately. But we still got 23 laps of this 33-lap race here at the Red Bull Ring, as Panic Potato goes very wide out of the turn there. Is that going to be a penalty for him? think he may have just about got away with it. Will remain in second position. 1.1 seconds is the gap between him and JDJ for P2 and 3 respectively. VSR Richard is also in the hunt here, but he's just outside of that slipstream range. So he'll be looking to really get the best of the final 2 corners to try and home into that toe of VSR JDJ, but yeah, then there's a gap to VSR Fish. 4.7 seconds is the gap with VSR Nitro Merlin, 2.8 seconds adrift of him, but 2.3 seconds in front of teammate VSR Giller. Still trying to hold off Chaz for that 7th position, with Nutcap also very, very close to the back of Chaz as well. So Chaz looking quite competitive here, but is he now going to send it on VSR Giller as he approaches turn 3? Chaz is going to try it around the outside. And Puma Nutcap, he's going to try to do the old switcheroo Chaz, but didn't get the actual traction out of the corner, so will remain in P9. But Chaz is going to have to do it all over again if he is to pass VSR Giller. Giller is not going to make it easy for him as he takes the inside line, and Nutcap as well. He's going to have to be patient too and try to sweep up if any opportunity does arise from this. But so far it is a line of stern for VSR Giller in P7, Chaz in P8 and Puma Nutcap in P9.
Yeah, Chaz, he's been running pretty well. He started in 11, so up to P8 already. And looking at his last few lap times before he caught up to the back of Giller, he's been significantly quicker. So we'll see if he can get this overtake done pretty quickly so we can start making a charge to Nitro Merlin in P6.
Right, indeed, yeah, it is as close as you like. I mean, we are talking about a second separating 3 positions right now. Looks like Chaz got a good run at turn 1, though. He's going to send it on the inside. Oh, the cutback complete, though, from Giller as he retakes P7, and Nutcap up into P8 as well. So Chaz losing out on 2 positions in technically 1 position, but yeah, the opportunity had passed him at turn number 1. Nutcap is going to try and attack Giller as well, and looks like Nutcap's got a good run on Giller. He's got the inside line as we go down the hill for turn number 6, isn't it? I think Schlossgold, and Giller is going to be showing the outside. Let's Nutcap through. Oh, and there's contact between him and Chaz as Giller faces the barrier. Let's save the replay on that one. And that was a bit of a confusing moment. So let's get on the replay there and see what happened to Giller. So Nutcap was on the inside of Giller, and then Chaz tried to stick her nose up the inside, tagged the rear side of his car, and that put Giller into the barrier.
I do not envy the stewards for this race, because they are definitely going to have their hands full with this one. There's been, there's been quite a bit of contact. I mean, some of it incidental, but yeah, it's kind of what you get when you get these guys are racing hard, and contact. Unfortunately, it's inevitable.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, I mean, it was looking good for Chaz, who had risen up a couple of positions from his qualifying stint, but now Chaz has just picked up a half a second penalty for cutting track limits. And also, well, I mean, obviously I can't tell you what the stewards are thinking, but it did look a bit dubious there as he made Giller spin, and yeah, he could be landed with a penalty after the race, but we'll leave that up to the stewards to decide, and we'll carry on with the race. But yeah, Chaz has got a half a second penalty which he's going to have to serve towards the end of this lap. he has got a comfortable lead over Latari Racing, so he should hold on to the 8th position, but Nutcap is going to escape his clutches, who is currently in 7th position, who is now looking to close in on VSR Nitro Merlin, his arch nemesis, if the last round was anything to go by. So we'll see if Nutcap can start heading further up the grid and start looking forward rather than behind him. But yeah, so far negotiating the final 2 corners, I think just about well enough to not pick up a penalty. So he is starting to close in on Nitro Merlin then. The gap is 1.5 seconds between the pair of them. If Nutcap can get a good line out of turn 1, which he does actually, he got very good traction out of that corner, and closed in on Nitro Merlin by 0.3 of a second. So he's just about getting into that slipstream range now, and that is going to put him that little bit closer to VSR Nitro Merlin's back bumper. So Nutcap, yeah, doing really well now. The gap is now down to 0.8 of a second and closing. So Nitro Merlin is going to come under serious pressure from Puma Nutcap as we come down the hill for Schlossgold. And Nutcap must be licking his lips right now, as the gap is still about 8.5, but Nitro Merlin, he is going to see Nutcap big in his mirrors, and surely that is going to put him under severe pressure as we look to finish off lap number 14 of 33. Nitro Merlin, oh my god, it looked like he went super deep into that turn there, but I think he just about got away with it, but literally living life on the edge as we come up to the penultimate corner of lap 14. Nutcap also on the edge there as well, and I think he just about survives as well as we go through the last turn, and they are how they were, 0.8 of a second separating the 2 drivers. Let's have a look elsewhere in the grid then. So looks like we have got a battle brewing up for the fight for P9 then. Puma Racing Neil, oh, he's got half a second penalty, goes very squirrely out of turn 1 as well. This is going to give a great chance for Latari Racing, as Neil is given an extra half a second penalty to add to his previous half a second penalty. So Latari Racing is going to try and take the outside line. Oh, and this goes sideways and nearly into the barrier, but certainly loses a position to VSR Wolfie, as now Wolfie is going to try and challenge Puma Racing Neil for that 9th position. But wow, big change in just a few seconds there. Latari Racing looked to be brave, but unfortunately that gamble, oh my god, he nearly lost it on the exit as well. He went very slidey, and Latari Racing, well, it looked like he was going from strength to strength, but it's funny how things change so quickly, Tucson.
Yeah, and I just did a quick run through the field, and he's actually the only driver with a full set of hards. So yeah, I mean, to see him, you know, kind of losing the rear like that is kind of expected. The hard tires are quite the difficult tire to get around the sports, especially coming out of those low speed sections. So not super surprised to see him that sideways out of these corners. Yeah, we'll see if he can improve once he gets onto either the mediums or the softs for his second stint.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, well, we did predict that the drivers would be running roughly 16 to 17 laps on each compound if they were to do the full hards or the full mediums. So it looks like for this first stint for Latari Racing, he's going to go on the longest stint on these racing hard tyres. Or as Latari goes a little bit deep there, but I think he gets away with it. But he is looking to try to close in on Puma Racing Nil now when we look at the tyres, because this is a bit of a strange dynamic looking at hards or hards on the fronts and mediums on the rears. So we're trying to keep an eye on the rear tyres for this kind of tyre strategy. Certainly something you don't really want in the Mercedes, because it's a pretty powerful car, and you really don't want to lose the rear end grip, because that can make the car very squirrely. But it does look like Atari Racing is closing in on Puma Racing Nil for that 10th position. Meanwhile, we've got VSR Giller, who has got front aero damage, of course. He is currently in a 12th position with Lightning Lorry in P13. Kennels at the back of the grid. Did we comment on this? Was Kennels in P14 for quite a long time? Because I could have sworn that Lightning Lorry was at the back of the grid. So Lightning Lorry up to P13 then, and Chaz comes in from I think it may have been P9 at the time, and into the pits to change off of them racing hard and racing mediums. We'll see what kind of strategies they use as Kennels also comes into the pits from the back of the grid. It's going to be very interesting what they use now. Is it going to be the all medium tyres now? I think it may well be. And yes, Chaz does use the all medium tyres. Kennels also as well. Will it be the all medium tyres for him? And
so it looks like the drivers who are on the hard and mediums, with specifically the hards on the front, they'll be classified as using a hard set. So they'll either have to use the mediums or the softs for their next stint.
Yes, indeed, as Levitis also comes in from the race lead on the all-medium tyres. So he's going to transfer over to the all-hard tyres as Panic Potato also comes in. JDJ also comes in. So could it be advantage to VSR, to the team of VSR, because JDJ, Richard, Fish all deciding to use the hard-medium combination. So it does mean that they will go onto the medium tyres for their second stint. VSR Wolfie also doing the same as well, with Nitro Merlin as well, P7, P8 respectively. Puma Racing Nil also going for the same combo. So are the two TNR drivers of Levitius and Panic Potato, are they at a disadvantage right now, Tucson?
I would definitely say so, especially Potato wasn't able to quite pull out the gap needed to offset the difference in the two tire compounds. Levidius, he may have put out enough of a gap. He comes out of the pits. He's 2 seconds behind Latari, but Latari, as well as Nutcap in the lead, hasn't pit just yet. So we'll see how everything irons out once they make their pits. And we'll see if that, I think he was about 8 seconds ahead before he went to the pits. We'll see if that's enough for him to hold on to the lead, but, you know, it's definitely going to come into Team VSR a little bit later on in this race.
Yes, indeed. Well, Panic Potato currently in P4. He has a 3.2 second lead over VSR JDJ. Now, we know that Panic Potato is on the harder of the compounds, on the hard tyres, and JDJ is on the all medium tyres. So he really does need to make this count now. Currently in P5, but we do know that Nutcap will be coming in, and in fact, he does come in from the provisional race lead. 10.6 seconds was the lead. We do believe that the drivers do spend roughly 45 to 50 seconds in the pit lane with a full tank of fuel as well. The Vitches is going to inherit the race lead again with Nutcap coming in, Latari Racing coming in. Panic Potato is going to inherit second position, but look at that gap coming down now. Panic Potato, the gap was 3.3 seconds last time we looked, and now it's 2.8 seconds to VSR JDJ in third, with VSR Richie just behind him, 6.5 tenths down on said teammate in a fourth position. Then VSR Fish has been promoted up to fifth, as it looks like Nutcap just coming out the pit lane now. He's going to rejoin in sixth position then, with Nitro Merlin just coming around turn one. It looks like Nutcap is going to be in front of Nitro Merlin to move up into P6. Chaz, though, looks like he's rather competitive at this stage here, as he looks to slingshot his way past Nitro Merlin for turn three with a perfectly timed or perfectly executed move on the VSR Nitro Merlin to move up into P7. What a fantastic move that was. Let's look on board with the replay there and see exactly how that was performed. There we go, as easy as you like, Chaz, up into P7. So, riding back on board with the drivers then, so it does look like most of the drivers have taken their pit stops now, if not all of them. So, as we look a little bit further behind with Nitro Merlin still just behind Chaz in P8, we've got VSR Wolfie now in 9th position, 4 seconds ahead of Latari Racing, who has made his pit stop on to the all-medium tyres. Then we've got Puma Racing Neil in 11th position, 2.8 seconds down on Latari, and 2 seconds in front of VSR Giller in 12th position. Then there's a 4.5 second gap between Giller and Lightning Lorry for P12 and 13 respectively, and then 12 seconds the gap between him and Kennels, but Kennels will be on the softer of the compound, so he should be faster at this point of the race. Lightning Lorry of course on the hard tyres, so he is at a disadvantage here. Neil has just picked up a half a second penalty for cutting track limits, so that means Giller is going to be thrown into play to fight for that P11 if Neil is not too careful. The gap is 2 seconds between the two drivers, but let's get back on board with Levitius. So he's still got a 10-second lead over teammate Panic Potato for P1 and P2, but look at the gap now between Panic Potato and VSR JDJ then. So JDJ really taking advantage of these medium tyres and just looking to be as consistent as possible and try not to pick up these penalties as he looks to hound down Panic Potato. He's going to be under increasing pressure as the laps tick on by, with VSR Richard trying to hold on to the slipstream of his teammate JDJ, where it is 1 second between the two drivers. So this is definitely going to get rather tasty between the three drivers in the next lap or two. You can see visibly their gap is coming down, and JDJ firmly in that slipstream. Panic Potato with no slipstream, of course, is going to be a bit of a sitting duck here as we go down the straights. So the gap has come down to 7.5 tenths of a second. Let's get on board with JDJ now then, with his bonnet cam. You can see that the gap is just over 7/10 of a second, but it'll be interesting to see how much time he gains through the corners, and it looks like the difference is about 0.2 of a second per corner. So Panic Potato could come under pressure by the end of the lap here, and I think he's going to be defending for his life as he goes a little bit wide out of turn 7. And JDJ really closing in now, and it's just a matter of time for JDJ to slingshot his way past Panic Potato into P2. Panic Potato, of course, his championship rival. JDJ will be wanting to get past him as soon as possible. Looks like JDJ's got a great run out of the final turn, and is he going to send it on the inside? No, he's going to tuck behind and maybe use the next straight as the opportunity to slingshot his way past him. Panic Potato, of course, you can see that on the hard tyres, not the grippiest of tyre through turn 1. JDJ, is he just saving fuel at this stage? I'm not sure, because I would have thought he would have tried to get past him. Panic Potato is going to defend that inside line. JDJ is going to try to perform the old switchback. JDJ's got a great one. It looks like JDJ is going to find his way past Panic Potato. He's got the inside line, and I think Panic Potato is going to get on the brakes a little bit earlier, or maybe not actually. But it was only inevitable that JDJ was going to take that position away from Panic Potato to move up into P2. Panic Potato will try and fight here, but with the superior grip of their medium tyres, JDJ should be able to pull away from him, and Panic Potato may have to look in his mirrors because VSR Richard isn't too far behind him in 4th position now, Tucson.
Yeah, I think JDJ played that really smart, delaying the pass until turn 3. I think if he tried to make the move into turn 1, Panic Potato would have maybe been able to hold on to that slip and maybe attack him again going into P3. So, to turn 3. So, yeah, that move from JDJ, I think that was absolutely calculated and probably the best move to make at that time.
Well, interestingly, Panic Potato still very close to the back of JDJ now. Is JDJ just... Oh, he goes a little bit wide. Goes a little bit wide, and Panic Potato's going to get more momentum out of the corner, and he's going to retake that second position away from VSR JDJ. So a big mistake there from JDJ, although he's going to try to slingshot his way up the inside of turn 3. Panic Potato is going to hang it around the outside, and I have to say, this is great defense from Panic Potato, because JDJ not able to get past him here, and Panic Potato is going to defend for his life on the inside line. He's going to then squeeze JDJ to the outside. And it's JDJ, oh, I thought he was going to try to switch back, but Panic Potato did defend away from JDJ to hold on to that second position. So VSR Richard now pulled into the fight. He did make a mistake at turn 1, but with this squabbling between Panic Potato and JDJ, Richard is back firmly in the fight here, which will mean everything to him for the championship race. We've got 3 races remaining, remember here, so every position counts at this stage. So VSR Richard P4 at the moment. He'll be looking to try and get that P2 to lessen the deficit to Levitius. The gap between Richard and Levitius is 11.6 seconds. So JDJ, he's definitely getting held up here for sure. They could be saving a little bit of fuel as well, but he'll really want to try and get past him, because their medium tyres are starting to die a little bit. So here's JDJ now on Panic Potato. Panic Potato is going to show him the outside line, but Panic Potato still with a nose in front. And JDJ with the switchback, and the switchback completed at turn 3. It's become down the hill for the 24th time of asking as we come into Schlossgold. And surely JDJ is going to take this position. Panic Potato with a great effort though, he's still going to hold him off. Panic Potato's got the inside line for turn 6. So Panic Potato is going to take that second position, and JDJ must be absolutely furious at this point, because he surely should have the superior tyres to get past him. But Panic Potato being an absolute nuisance, JDJ does take that position eventually, and Panic Potato down to P3. But look at VSR Richard now. VSR Richard's going to try and send it on the inside, and he takes that position away from Panic Potato. But Panic Potato with the old switcheroo back into P3. It's a bit of a yo-yo fight between the 3 drivers here, as JDJ looks like he went a little bit wide. And has he picked up a penalty? I'm not sure. I think he just about got away with it. And VSR Richard, you know what, Panic Potato thinking, I'm losing too much time here, allows VSR Richard back through, and Richard takes that P3 away from him, Tucson.
Yeah, and while that was happening, I actually had my eye on the battle for P5 on the last lap. Nutcap had just a slightly better exit than Vish, and was able to overtake in the second straight leading up to turn 3.
What position, sorry, Tucson?
That was Nutcap for P5.
Oh, right, sorry. Okay, yeah, so definitely very tight between the 2 drivers then. 0.4 of a second separating Nutcap and VSR Fish. So, yeah, they are as even as can be when it comes to the tyre delta and the fuel. There we go. Yeah, Nutcap will be looking to fend off Fish to hold on to that P5. It's not been the best of races for, or the best of time, should I say, for Nutcap in this MSA Cup Championship. So 5th position would be a boost of confidence for him going into the last 2 rounds of this MSA Cup 2025. But yeah, currently 0.4 of a second is the gap. Let's look back on the... Oh, is Fish gone a bit wide out of the last turn? I'm not sure. It's very, very tight. I think he just about got away with it. But let's have a look on board with JDJ now. So 12 seconds is the gap between Levitis and JDJ. All that squabbling has extended the lead for Levitis. And looking at the tyres now with JDJ, them front left tyres are starting to burn down. And this is at the point of the race where the mediums will be probably even to them hard tyres. In fact, maybe the hard tyres with a little bit more wear than I was expecting on Panic Potato. So maybe the mediums are still a little bit faster than them hard tyres. But in the next maybe 2 or 3 laps, that's when the exchange could happen, where the hard tyres are all of a sudden level, if not quicker, than the medium tyres. Yeah, the gap is 11.8 seconds. So between JDJ and VSR Richard, they're going to have to work as a team now if they are going to claw back the gap between them and Levitis. The gap is 11.7 seconds with 7 laps to go. It's going to be a tall order if I'm being brutally honest, and I think that Levitis will be thanking Panic Potato for holding them up as much as he could, as he does pick up a half a second penalty for good measure, Panic Potato, but he has a comfortable lead over Puma Nutcap. The gap is 8.9 seconds to the Puma driver, who still has VSR Fish for company in 6th position. I did feel like Fish went a little bit wide, but as he got away with it, I think he just about got away with it there. So he's still in the hunt for that 5th position, but the gap is about a second, so just on the edge of that slipstream range. He needs a good exit out of here, and he doesn't get the best exit there, so Nutcap could be pulling away now. 1.1 seconds is the gap. I think he's just about in that toe, but it's very, very tight. Chaz is now in P7 though, with a 4.7 gap. 4.7 second gap between Chaz and Fish for P6 and P7 respectively. VSR Wolfie is 3.6 seconds down in P8 with his teammate for close company in P9, Nitro Merlin that is, with Latari Racing kind of in no man's land. 2.2 seconds is the lead over Gilla in P11. Puma Racing Neil 1.7 seconds behind in P12. Lightning Lorry definitely in no man's land, 12 seconds adrift in P13, 8.4 seconds ahead of Kennels, who, well, he hasn't got much time if he is to catch up with Lightning Lorry, but at the back of the grid right now in P14. So this is pretty much as spread out as it can be, but Nutcap and 2.6 seconds as Fish just made a mistake there. Well, Richard thought of going for a move on JDJ, thought better of it, thought, okay, we're going to tuck back in, but VSR Richard now starting to come into his own now, in 3rd position. The gap is just over 2.5 tenths of a second. So Richard playing the smart game here, just maybe saving a little bit of fuel, saving his tyres, and maybe he can make a move on his teammate JDJ to try and grab that 2nd position. But yeah, very, very interesting strategy here. And yeah, I just... like I say, I mean, obviously JDJ had to try and get past Panic Potato cleanly, but Panic Potato did a fantastic job in holding him up. And do you think that Panic Potato has done enough to allow his teammate Levitis the race victory, Tucson?
Yeah, absolutely. Potato was a massive thorn in JDJ's side, and just his defense was absolutely brilliant. You know, he really pushed those hard tires to the absolute limit, and aside from losing time behind Potato, JDJ also had to deal with that dirty air, which increased his tire wear. So yeah, him and Richard, their tires are looking a little worse for wear, no pun intended. So it was gonna be a struggle even while he was fighting Potato. But now it looks like, I'm looking at the lap times, it looks like the mediums and the hards are kind of even at this moment. So yeah, it looks like this is Lev's race to lose here.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised by Panic Potato's hard tyres actually, because I thought that the degradation wouldn't be so harsh on that hard tyre, but it actually, I mean, obviously the medium tyres have run down quicker, and obviously with Richard and JDJ, they're in that kind of window now where the medium tyres are just going to be losing time lap after lap. As you mentioned though, with the lap delta, VSR JDJ last lap times of 1 minute 31.0 and 1 minute 31.2, with VSR Richard with a 1 minute 30.7 and a 1 minute 31.4, and then Panic Potato, the last 2 laps is a 1 minute 31.6 and a 1 minute 31.7. So it would suggest that the tyres are now starting to degrade very quickly for the 2 VSR drivers, and the gap is kind of maintained as well between VSR Richard and Panic Potato. It's just over 2 seconds. So it's as you said, Tusum, it's looking like Levitius's race to lose here, in a very comfortable position, 12 seconds over VSR JDJ. Actually, the gap has extended by about half a second in the last couple of laps here. So yeah, Levitius with very, very consistent lap times: 1 minute 31.0, 1 minute 31.1, 1 minute 30.9.
Oh, Taylor just went wide. Taylor just went wide in T3. He just lost about a second to VSR Richard. I was gonna say, Rob G. Barker in chat mentioned that the mediums for JDJ and Richard, they could fall off pretty soon, and that could put Panic Potato back in a position to try to take away a podium position from one or maybe even both of them if they're not careful.
Yes, indeed. Let's have a look on the race replay of Panic Potato going wide, but yeah, I don't know. It's going to be tight. You could be right there, Rob. You could be right, Tusum. Definitely we are in that window where Panic Potato didn't get on the brakes in time and ran very, very wide. Did he pick up a penalty for that? Did he get away with that one? I think he did. So yeah, just lost a little bit of time, put a bit of dirt on his tyres, but yeah, the gap is 3.5 seconds between Richard and Panic Potato with 3 laps remaining. It's going to take a serious mistake from VSR Richard if Panic Potato is going to come back into the fight here. But Richard, well, he's still 3.5 tenths down on JDJ. Now, is team orders going to come into play here? Because both of them being VSR drivers, Richard definitely needing the points more than JDJ does, with 3 laps remaining. Is Richard going to be afforded that position, or are they going to duke it out in the final 3 laps? Now, we have seen in previous races that JDJ and Richard definitely had a fascinating race at Road Atlanta, where they battled tooth and nail to try and grab that second position. Well, we're in the same predicament right now. So is JDJ going to try to fight off Richard, or is he going to let him through? It's going to be very, very interesting as we get into the final embers of this race. The Levitius is still 12 seconds in front in the race lead, looking like he's got enough fuel as well. Panic Potato, yeah, it's looking like he's down and out now. 3.6 seconds is the gap. We're going to stay on board with VSR Richard, but I'm just trying to look on the map if there's any close battles. I think we have got one for 10th position, and it's Latari Racing trying to fight off VSR Giller, who is just 3.5 tenths off of Latari Racing. Racing Mediums. Looks like Giller has got better tyres than him. I'm going to keep looking at P2 and P3 to see if their positions do change, but it looks like Giller looking a little bit more competitive at this stage of the race as we go on to the penultimate lap of the race. Latari Racing is going to defend for his life. He's going to take that inside line, and Giller will have to take it around the outside if he is to make this move stick. Oh, Latari Racing didn't get the best exit though, and is Giller gonna slingshot his way past him as Latari Racing does defend the inside line once again? Giller side by side with Latari Racing now. Latari Racing is going to hold his line, and Giller maybe caught a little bit too much of the sausage, didn't get the best of exits. Let's have a look on VSR Richard then, as he is still in third position. The gap is just over 0.5 of a second, so it does look like JDJ is going to fight it out with Richard, because it looks like JDJ, of course, being in third position in this championship, these points mean everything to him as well. He's only I think he's only 15 points. I don't know what it is. I need to check the stats. Less than 20 points anyways from VSR Richard. So so JDJ is still in the fight for this championship. Second position will mean a lot to JDJ, but certainly Levi will be praying that JDJ does get second and VSR Richard gets third, because if they remain how they are, Levitius will definitely close the gap. And in fact, just off the top of my head, they will be level on points. Now, of course, the second drop round does come into play here, so it may be different to what I'm thinking. But VSR Richard, not much time remaining if he is going to take that position away from JDJ, but JDJ is going to defend from Levitius. Let's have a look. Sorry, not from Levitius, from Richard, but Levitius coming around the final three corners now. We will quickly look back on board with the fight for P2. Who?
From P10, Gallara tried to go down the inside of Latari, but there was a tiny bit of contact, and Gallara wasn't able to make it stick.
Right. Okay, but Levitius just coming around the final corner now. He's going to come across the line to claim the checkered flag and win round 8 of the MSA Cup at Red Bull Ring. Congratulations to Levitius. And then we've got VSR JDJ coming around the final corner now. If he can take it cleanly, he's going to finish in second position ahead of VSR Richard for third position then. Panic Potato is going to come home in fourth position, with Puma Nutcap in fifth position ahead of VSR Fish, who's going to grab an excellent P6 for him. Chaz looks like he's going to claim 7th position ahead of VSR Wolfie in P8, and then VSR Nitro Merlin is going to come home in 9th position, with Latari Racing able to hold off VSR Giller, I think Giller went a little bit wide, I'm not really sure, but Latari's definitely going to get P10 ahead of Giller in P11. Puma Racing Neil is going to come home in 12th position, with TNR Lightning Lorry coming around the penultimate corner now. He should be able to claim a 13th position ahead of MGR Kennels, who is just coming up to the penultimate corner now. He's going to... Oh, Puma Racing Neil has been disconnected. I don't know if he still gets that race position or not. That was a very strange moment. But yeah, that was very, very strange. Kennels is going to come across the line to finish in 13th. We'll be back in a jiffy. Okay, so the provisional race results at round 8 of the MSA Cup at Red Bull Ring sees Levitius claim his, I'm going to say, 5th race victory of the season. In fact, I think it's the 4th race victory of the season, ahead of VSR JDJ, who just about fought off VSR Richard for 2nd and Richard for 3rd. We're going to be joined by the top 3 drivers in the interview room very, very shortly, and it's definitely going to be very interesting to get the thoughts of all 3 drivers. In 4th position, it was a valiant effort from Panic Potato, but he's going to have to settle for 4th position ahead of Puma Nutcap. I do believe that is his 2nd best result of the season. He gets an excellent 5th position for him. In 6th position, we've got VSR Fish with a very good drive from him. He finishes just in front of TNR Chaz for P6 and Chaz P7. In 8th position is VSR Wolfie, And then in ninth, it's a VSR Nitro Merlin with a solid display there. Top 10 finish for TNR Latari, just in front of VSR Giller to finish in P10 and Giller for P11. In P12, it's Lightning Lorry. And I do need to get confirmation here because Puma Racing Neil, I don't know if he crossed the line or not, but and I don't know what the rule is, but he disconnected just before the end of the race. So we're not 100% sure if these are going to be the positions for the bottom three, but as it stands now, it's Lightning Lorry in P12, Kennels in P13, and Puma Racing Neil in P14. But Tucson, what are your thoughts on today's race?
Yeah, it was an interesting race with some very unique strategies. Seeing the hard, medium, compound mixtures from a lot of the drivers. It I see what they were going for. It was definitely an interesting way to. I don't want to say exploit the system because this was a lot about race control, but I'll say it was a very intelligent use of the hards because it allowed them to pretty much use another set of mediums. Levidius, he put together an amazing drive today. Potato, amazing defense from the two VSR boys. JDJ and Richard, they fell just a bit short. It would have been interesting to see how the race would have played out had Potato not been in the way, but yeah, I mean, again, really good drive from everyone, really. There was a few battles here and there, but everybody throughout the grid, they kept us entertained throughout most of the race.
Yeah, indeed. I'm just reading the chat, and TNR Sean is saying that Lev can't join the interview room. He will be the third interviewee, so we will see if he can join later on, because we will be starting off with VSR Richard and then JDJ. So if Levi can get into the commentary booth, that would be absolutely awesome. But yes, with them thoughts, we are going to interview the top three drivers in a short while, so I'm just going to be sorting myself out and we'll be back in a few moments time. Okay, so we're in the interview room now, and we are going to interview VSR Richard and congratulate him as well on a fantastic performance there. Richard, third position for you. How are you feeling after that?
No, very happy with third position, especially after the quali session I messed up. So no, I can't complain. I think I've qualified overall 8th on the grid. Managed to keep it clean, managed to keep the penalties away, and yeah, finished up in third place, almost a second place, but yeah, JD was just too fast there for me. So congrats to him as well, but I'm very happy with a podium.
So Richard, tell us about your strategy then, because this was definitely a very unusual thing Something I didn't know that actually worked in GT7, but you know, using two different compounds from the fronts to the rears. Tell us about your strategy and how that played out for you.
Yeah, we did. The practice lobbies started full on mediums or full on hards, and it was stipulated in the rules that whatever the game showed the tire you're on, that will count as one of the compounds. So yeah, I realized that if you put hards, because the front tires was the tire wear was much worse on the mediums than on the hards. So I tested the hards on front and the mediums at the back, and it worked. So yeah, and then the tire wear is not so bad on the front tires, and taking my quality position into account, I thought, okay, now let me do that. Let's get that hard compound out of the way, put it on up front, and I'm not going to waste mediums in the mid pack for the start and then run the hards towards the end. So yeah, it worked out for me, so I'm happy.
And yeah, tell us towards the sort of second half of the race then. So I didn't know if you was aware on TNR's strategy, or particularly from Panic Potato and Levitius. So they decided to go with the full tyres on all four wheels. That is, so they went with the mediums first and then the hards for the second stint. So you was aware of that, and tell us the frustration of being behind Panic Potato, because it looked like you had more pace, but he did a great job of holding you guys up.
Yeah, no, definitely all hats off to Panic Potato. I think he's a very good and clean driver. So I didn't know in the beginning because I was just focusing in staying out of accidents and colliding with other cars because I've qualified in the mid-pack. So eventually when a couple of the drivers made some mistakes and got some penalties, I managed actually to do easy overtakes. And I think Nilo also spun out at a stage or nut cap. And then I found myself behind JDJ. And I know JDJ is very fast, so I thought, okay, let me sit behind him, save a little bit of fuel. I'm not going to challenge him and bring the mid-pack back in the hunt. And actually didn't know at that stage Panic Potato were on hards or mediums, because he had some clean air in the beginning. And then when he pitted, I actually realized that he's going over to hards for his last stint. And obviously, I can use the medium compound, and I know Jay did the same strategy that I did. So he went on mediums, and I knew that it will only be a matter of time when we can catch him and try to make a move and get past him, which we did, and it worked out perfectly.
Yes, indeed. Well, definitely P3, nothing to be sniffed at. So, yeah, congratulations on a great performance and a great result for you. Tusum, any thoughts, any questions for our third place finisher?
Yes. Richard, congrats on yet another podium. When you came in for your initial pit stop, I think the gap between Lev and P1, and I think you were about maybe like 9-10 seconds behind him. At that point, and you saw that you've had the tire advantage for the second half of the race. Did you think that you still had a shot at the win, or were you maybe thinking that gap may have been a bit too much to try to overcome?
No, I think I knew it was over. I think the gap that he pulled out on us in front, having clean air to his advantage, it would have been very difficult to catch up. Especially also to the time that it took to get past Panic Potato. He did a great job on running on hards. So the thing is with Red Bull, if you've got clean air, you can do consistent fast laps. But if you find yourself in traffic and start battling, you lose almost 1 second to 2 seconds a lap. So I knew that was on the cards. So no, to be honest, I did not think that we will be able to close the gap down to Levitius.
All right, now we've got 2 more races left in the season, one of which is going to be we still have the AMG for another race. Yeah. The next race is going to be at Monza. Are you feeling confident that you'll be able to continue to take the fight to Lev and maybe try to extend that points lead that you got?
Yeah, I think it's still wide open between Levi, myself, and JDJ. Anything can happen on a race day. It takes only one silly mistake and your race are completely ruined. So I like Monza. I think I'm okay there. I'm not particularly I would say the fastest, but I will put in the practice. I know JDJ is quite good on Monza. It's one of his favorite tracks. See if I can learn a couple of pointers from him, and then we'll take it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the last two races. I think it's Monza, and then I think it's Le Mans with a special event or something. But yeah, and I'm looking forward to Monza.
All right, well, I can't wait to see it. Richard, again, congratulations on P3, and I'll be looking forward to see what you do in Monza next week.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Richard. And well, actually, I was going to lead on to the next question, just to say that well, we don't actually know what the point situation is here. You came into this race with a 9-point lead over Levitius. Now, I do believe with Levitius getting first and you getting third, that would be the 9-point deficit closed. But then, of course, I think the second drop round comes into play after this race, so I'm not sure where you know you're going to come out, but what I will say is going to be very, very tight at the top. So are you feeling a little bit nervous ahead of Monza, or are you in good spirits and just looking to go flat out and seeing where that gets you?
Yeah, no, definitely feeling a little bit nervous. I mean, the pressure is on. The championship is up for grabs there. So I know slipstream is going to play a major factor on Monza because of the long straights. So we'll see. We'll test a couple of strategies. But yeah, no, I'm nervous for the championship, but I'll try my best. Try to keep cool on the race day, and try to give my best performance.
Yep, that I'm sure you will, Richard. And yeah, like I say, fantastic performance from you today. Unlucky that it couldn't have been a little bit higher up, but that is because of one driver that we're going to interview in a minute's time. But yeah, well done to you, Richard, and look forward to seeing you next week.
Yeah, thank you, guys. Looking forward to race next week, Monday. Keep up the good work. Well done. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. Take care.
Thanks. Bye. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Okay, and then on to our second place finisher. It was VSR JDJ. And JDJ, I have to say, that was another formidable performance from you. Second place for you. How are you feeling after that?
Extremely happy with the second place. I arrived back at home yesterday night. So it was the first time I could have practiced this all week because I was gone from Tuesday until yesterday. So being in second place with a day's worth of practice, can't ask for anything better. I don't think P1 was up for grabs. Levitus was extremely quick. But yeah, I knew top 3 was possible. So just stick it out, keep it clean, just keep focused, not get any unnecessary penalties. So yeah, I'm extremely happy with the P2.
So JDJ, tell us about the second half of the race, because Richard was a little bit coy on that response, but of course you had TNR's Panic Potato just in front of you. Tell me about the frustration, maybe, of being sort of stuck behind it. I mean, of course, Panic Potato, very, very fast driver. I don't know if he was aware that he was on the harder of the compounds. But yeah, certainly at that point of the race, you was probably looking to catch up with Levitius. But tell us about your frustrations being behind Panic Potato, who absolutely defended for his life with a brilliant defensive job there.
Yeah, so exiting out of the pits, I saw he was on the medium compound tire in the first chat, and I saw the gap was only about 3 seconds going into the pits. So I had hope to be able to catch up within a couple of laps, and then I knew it was going to be, of course, a battle because he's going to defend his P2. We're going to try to take the P2. So, yeah, I got close up to him. did a switch back there to number 2 that worked quite well, and that worked quite decently, clean move. And then as soon as I started pulling away from him, I saw the gap wasn't going quite as fast as I wanted to, so I kept on pushing. Made a small mistake at turn 1, allowing him back past, and I had to stick behind him and do it again. But second attempt was a bit more difficult. He put up a strong defense, and when I saw I passed him, as soon as I passed him, I just stayed. I tried to stay as consistent as possible, make the least amount of errors, just not to allow that back. Because I think if he went past me again, I think the tire deficit would have caught up before I could. So yeah, overall, yeah, that was technically what was going on in my head.
Yeah, I mean, it was all for us to see, really. I mean, of course, looking at your tyre delta, the racing mediums, how tricky is it to drive that car once they sort of get beyond that 50% mark? Is it quite horrible to drive and hard to sort of keep that consistency up?
Yeah, it's extremely difficult because the tire wear changes the lines, it changes the braking marks. It's consistent adapting to whatever the wear is on the tire. So as soon as that tire wear starts dropping, then you know, okay, you can always try to prepare yourself for when that comes, but it's always unpredictable because you're not going to have the exact same tire wear when it's in a practice race, this race, next week's race. You'll never have the same tire wear. So it will hit you at a different point maybe in the race. But yeah, about by 50%, you can say it feels more or less the same. And from there, it's like every third lap, it's an adjustment to your lines and everything. So at least with practice, you do realize as soon as you can feel that bit of understeer that it didn't used to give, then you know, okay, let me adjust, brake a bit earlier, lift a bit, turn in a bit earlier, just to keep it clean. But yeah, it's extremely stressful when you get to that point.
Well, you did a fantastic job, JDJ. Second position for you. It's good for your championship, I think. And I will reiterate on another question afterwards. But I'm going to introduce Tusen Box. So Tusen Box, have you got any questions for JDJ?
Yes, I do. ADJ, congrats on P2. Great racing overall. The race that you had with Panic Potato, I'm sure you realize that set you back a little bit. Like, how did that affect your race overall, and what adjustments did you make towards the end of that race just to get an idea of where your head was at after that battle?
So when we were catching up to Panic Potato, I was never really expecting the P1 because I saw Levitia's pace on the mediums was extremely fast, and as soon as he went onto the hards, I saw the time delta or the gap between us wasn't dropping as much as it should have been for us to be able to compete. So the two laps I had before being on Panic Potato, I knew I was checking the delta between myself and Levitius and myself and Panic Potato, and then I just realized P1 is not up for grabs. So just try to keep it, just focus on Panic Potato catching up, getting past, and just keeping it clean from there on. But yeah, that would have always been the strat, knowing because I started on the harder compound because I wasn't sure if being in a pack the first stint would have been beneficial because it's consistent battling. You're opening up gaps for the guys behind you because you don't want to necessarily make the overtake on the guy in front of you. You lift and then the guy from behind gets an opportunity to overtake. So yeah, after that bit, it was just trying to catch as quickly as I can, pass as quickly as I can, manage the race from there on.
All right. Now, I won't have the opportunity to ask this next week, so I'm going to ask this now. So, for the special round in 2 weeks at Le Mans, is there a certain car that you're hoping for that you're super comfortable in and you feel like you'll have the best odds of winning in that combo?
Mm, I would like if it's a GR3. I don't think GR1 or like the high downforce cars aren't really my specialty, but Lamar is a track that I love. So I'll try to adapt as quickly as at least we do have a week to prepare for it. But I would be hoping for let's say something unexpected, something everyone has to adapt to because I feel like I adapt quite well to different cars and I do it quite quickly. Then I can focus on just the consistency, the pace, everything around it. But if I had to if I had to choose one, it would probably be a road car. But I think that's highly unlikely. But any road car with road tires or anything less grippy tires, I like fighting the car a bit. So that's my strong suit. So yeah, but let's hope for that.
I can't wait to see that race, but yeah, first we got to get through Monza. Wish you the best of luck at Monza next week. I'm gonna send it back to Flawed.
Thank you, Jason. Yes, so all I was going to say was, so with the championship, again, I don't really know how it fares for you, including the second drop round coming in. But, you went into this race in third position. So what do you feel your chances are of upsetting the likes of Levitius and Richard to try and get into that fight?
Yeah, so we're gonna have to see what the drop round does, and I do believe I've got two worse results than Levitius and Richard. Those first two races didn't really benefit me, as unfortunately a small incident in the first race costing me a lot of positions, and I'm not sure what other race it was, but yeah. So I thought the drop round was already included, both of them. So actually, I'm a bit excited to see what it does for the championship, but I'm not sure if I'll be competing for the win, uh, depending on what the time, what the point difference is, and if I want to if I want a fair chance at winning the championship, it's gonna have to work a bit more than just winning the races. It's gonna be about other people being able to compete with Richard and with Levitius, and possibly taking a one or two positions from them to gain for me to gain the most amount of points I possibly can, just to catch up to the two of them in the championship. And yeah, I think it's always a possibility. Well, it takes one small error to make a mistake, which could cost you a lot of positions. So yeah, I must just keep it clean, do as best as I can, and just try to force myself into that fight.
Well, best of luck at Monza next week then. Yeah, we probably know then that it's kind of you're going to have to try to get the race win if possible, and then hope that the results around you come into your favour. But yeah, I'm hoping that you're feeling confident ahead of Monza, and yeah, definitely look forward to seeing how you get on.
100%. Thank you, and thank you for the stream commentating. I'm gonna do as I always do and I can join the stream afterwards and just have a replay of how it looked from your guys' POV. And well done to Richard for his P3 and Levitis for the win. Awesome racing, fun.
Thank you for the kind compliments. Yeah, it was a very fascinating race and definitely worth watching. So yeah, you might be a little bit surprised with what you find out. But yeah, great performance from you, second position, and look forward to seeing how you get on next week. So I'll see you then.
Thank you. Hope to see you guys.
Take care. Bye-bye, JDJ. And so then on to Levitius. I think he's in the Discord now. So let me just double check. Yes, he is. Hello, Levitius. Congratulations on the race victory. How are you feeling after that?
Pretty good. Everything went to plan. It was smooth, consistent. Nothing really else to comment on. Yeah, it was a good race.
Was you feeling confident ahead of this race? Because Red Bull Ring, we know, is a bit of a penalty haven, really. But you was absolutely flying in qualifying. You was a good 2.5 tenths quicker than your nearest rival, Panic Potato, and then you started on P1. And was you feeling in good mood, should I say, and feeling confident that you could get the race win today?
For the qualifying, Dylan and I came up with a strategy. It was completely tactical, and we managed to both help each other out in the race, in the qualifying, and it just made us give a front row lockout to each other. And after that, the race, turn one was the only thing that really was going to give me a bit of a issue. And once I saw Dylan made a mistake at the start, it was a little sketchy, but I pulled out, once I knew when I came through Sector 2, and I pulled out a 1 second gap, I knew already that I just had to do my own race and just drive from there. I only got 1 penalty. It was unfortunate. It could have been a perfect race, but overall, I'm happy. Everything went to plan. The strategy was perfect. And I was kind of shocked that other drivers went with the split compounds. I'll take that into consideration if we have to do that again sometime. And yeah, I'm just pretty happy.
Well, yeah, speaking of that strategy then, so was you not aware that you could select both compounds for all 4 or for the fronts and the rears? And, you know, how much of a difference do you feel that made overall in the race?
Well, when I saw the difference between the fronts and rears, when I saw Richard and JJ's POV, it's quite substantial. You get the extra traction, only a little bit of understeer on the front end. The car turns really well already, so that probably would have helped a bit. I saw their pace was really good for the quote-unquote hard stint, so maybe if I did that exact same thing, I would gain 0.2, 0.3 a lap, because I was really quick on the hards alone. So if I had a bit more traction, I could be a bit more aggressive. So yeah, it was a good strategy by them. I didn't realize that was possible, but yeah, we just kept it on track, did our thing, and yeah.
Yeah, it was a great performance from you. Very, very consistent. As you said, yeah, maybe just that 1 penalty, but that is some feat considering that you've got to go around the Red Bull Ring 33 times to just pick up that 1 penalty. It showed what a fantastic drive it was from you. So congratulations on that race victory. But Tusum, have you got any questions for Levitius?
I don't have much more to add, but I do just want to say, Lev, congratulations on that win. That was an absolutely dominant performance. On that second stint, I don't know. I mean, if you haven't saw it already, Potato, he put together an amazing defense to keep JDJ and Richard behind him. So if you haven't seen that yet, please take a look, because it was amazing driving from all 3 drivers. But yeah. Yeah, you stated earlier that the AMG at Red Bull Ring, it's, you know, one of your best combos. How are you feeling about Monza next week?
Probably Monza's my childhood favorite circuit. I love that track. I did that time trial a few weeks ago, which was the Mercedes time trial, and I felt really comfortable there as well. It's just all about penalties in that Della Ritifiglio chicane, turn 4 and 5. So if we can just make sure we're consistent through there, the rest of the track's quite straightforward. It's a very basic circuit. Slipstreams could be even more of a factor there. So if we can break away from the slipstream at the beginning of the race and do our own strategy, I think it'll put me in a good position. And then we'll move on to Le Mans.
And then your win today, it puts you in, we're not 100% sure, but the gap is definitely closed compared to where it was at the start of this race. How are you going to carry that momentum into the next race? Like, is that like just winning the championship? Is that something on your mind, or are you kind of like what every F1 driver says, like, I'm not really thinking about it, I'm just thinking about the next race?
I've been here, done that several times. I've been close to a championship fight at the end of the season several times before with other great drivers. So it's nothing new to me. Just have to take it 1 race at a time, and I feel very confident in the last 2 rounds. So just if I win the races, it's a slam dunk championship. So I just need to make sure I do that and don't focus on anyone else but myself.
Again, Lev, thank you, or not thank you. Congratulations again on your win.
You.
Again, absolutely dominant performance today. And looking forward to see what you do in Monza next week.
Thanks, Susan.
Yeah, I haven't really got much to add to that, really, because Tusum stole my question there. But but yeah, no, it was a fantastic result for you. It's just what the doctor ordered, and yeah, with 2 races to go now, it is going to be a straight up fight between yourself and VSR Richard for the MSA Cup Championship. So good luck at Monza. Really look forward to seeing how you get on there, and thank you for talking to us, Levi, and hopefully that gives you the confidence going into the next round.
Thank you, Flawed. I look forward to it.
Thank you, Levi. Take care of yourself.
You too.
Okay, bye-bye. Okay, right, so that is the top 3 interviews completed, and yeah, we have already mentioned what's coming up for the next round, but let's take you on a short recap. So, as you would have heard, coming up next week on Monday, August the 4th, we head to the land of Forza Ferrari at the world-famous F1 circuit of Monza, which features 11 turns in a clockwise direction around this 5.7 kilometer track layout in this fast-flowing circuit, where we could see overtakes aplenty with drama around every corner and straight. Drivers will need to be on their best behaviour, though, in this crucial race for round 9 of the MSA Cup next week. And of course, we already know that the drivers will be using once again the Mercedes AMG 2020 Group 3 car in what could be the final time we see a Group 3 race in this season's MSA Cup. We are still awaiting what's to follow at round 10 at Le Mans. It could be a Group 3 car. I've got a feeling it's going to be something very, very different. And of course, we do need to shout out our sponsors for the MSA Cup. So we are sponsored by Simulator Cave, the haven for all your sim racing requirements in South Africa, and TGSC Cape Town Golf Academy, the hotbed of nurturing talented golfers to reach full greatness. Please subscribe to our socials at Motorsport Association on all our platforms, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, our growing community on Discord, and of course this very channel on YouTube. Make sure if you're new to the channel, smash that subscribe button, click in the bell notification so you don't miss any of our content, and when you're done watching, hit that like button to help with the YouTube algorithm so it spreads our content across the platform. We fully appreciate you. But if you would like to contact Robin Williams, our MSA GT7 promoter, for further details, the email links will be in the description below and on our YouTube homepage. Also, always a big thank you to the SMA Productions and the SMA admin for their tireless work, as well as our very hard-working moderators as well, who do a fantastic job in controlling the chat. Thank you so much to everyone involved. We'll be back in a few seconds' time. Okay, so Tucson Box, well, it's been well documented that this is your final race of the MSA Cup on the co-coms, but tell us how the MSA Cup has been for you, and who is your driver of the day as well? And I do ask that question to chat as well.
Oh, I'll start with the driver of the day, and I absolutely have to give it to Potato. Defending not just one driver, but two drivers with a tire deficit for as long as he did, cleanly at that. It was absolutely incredible to see. It's a shame that he ended up just shy of a podium position, but again, it was very, very impressive driving from Potato. As for the MSA Cup, the experience here has been absolutely incredible. I only officially started doing comms maybe about two and a half months ago, and I have so many people to thank. Like, firstly, thanking the SMA community for allowing me to run comms for them.
Oh, I think you may have cut off there. Are you still there, Twosome? Well, Dana in chat just said, "Oh, Twosome, it was great having you. Twosome is so chilled, just great vibes from Sir Mags."
Flawed also.
You're back. Oh, you're back. All right, we can hear you now.
And then Flawed, I also want to thank you because you reached out to me after hearing me do comms for about a minute, and apparently that was enough for you to say, you know what, this guy's good. I want him on this team. It's been an amazing experience, and hopefully I can take this even further. I don't know if you've announced who is replacing me. I won't spoil it in case it's still an unknown, but the guy who's coming on for the next 2 weeks, he's an incredible commentator, incredible streamer. He's a great guy. So, he'll continue to withhold that same MSA quality that we've gotten to experience. And then lastly, I do also want to thank the drivers, because the drivers week in, week out, they give us amazing racing, amazing battles. It's always great to see. And it can be a good thing and a bad thing, but they always give us a lot of action to try to cover. So, yeah, I can't thank everybody in this community enough. It's been absolutely amazing.
I think Twosome Box is getting a little bit emotional there, but Twosome, it's been amazing to have you alongside me. As to your point where you said I listened to about a minute of your commentary, but it was enough for me. I was like, do you know what? He's got something there, and you've certainly provided that over the 3 races that you've joined us for the MSA Cup. I think the comments say it all in chat. They all think the world of you, I think, Twosome. So we really hope that we can have you back in future championships. I certainly want you back on my team, so it will be absolutely awesome. But my driver of the day, I think I'm gonna have to give it to. I was thinking of Panic Potato, but you know what? I think I am going to give it to TNR Levitius, and the reason why is because, of course, VSR Richard, who was leading the championship, Levitius knew that nothing short of a win would have been good enough, really. So the fact that he won the race, the fact that it was pretty much faultless during the race as well, I think I've got to give it to TNR Levitius. Twosome, what I will say is tell us about your channel, because for people to show their appreciation, I would like them to go and check out Twosome Box on Twitch and go and hit that follow button and tune in to his streams. But tell us a little bit about your channel, what's coming up in the near future, and
Yes, so this is my final week of daily streams for the month of July, and on the 30th, Wednesday, I am doing a spicy 1-chip challenge, and after I consume the chip, I'm going to drive a McLaren F1 around Nordschleife. I'm like doing practice laps now to try to get a baseline, and the whole thing is to see how much the spiciness affects me. It's like, now that it's getting like, it's really close now, like it's about a little more than 48 hours away, I'm like starting to get a little bit nervous. 'Cause I know how spicy these chips are. I'm gonna make a fool of myself on this stream, but at the same time, if you're a streamer, you have to be able to make a fool of yourself sometimes. So, yeah, that's happening Wednesday. I don't have an exact time, but you know, like Flawed said, it's all of my socials, Tuzenbox. So YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter. If you type in Tuzenbox, you'll see me basically.
Can I ask as well, Tuzem, then, so with this spicy chip challenge, are you allowed a glass of milk afterwards? Or, I mean, like, tell us about this challenge, because I'm guessing you're not the best with hot stuff.
Well, I don't have like a massively high spice tolerance, but I'm also, I do enjoy spicy food, so I can for the most part handle my spices. But this chip is gonna be spicier than anything I've ever consumed. But the box itself says like there's an additional challenge. So after you eat the chip, you have to wait 10 minutes before you can consume anything to cool it down. So my goal is to hopefully survive that 10 minutes, but I at least want to eat the chip, sit down, start and finish the lap. In the McLaren F1, it's the road version, not the GT3 version. That lap should take around, I did a lap last night, I did it in about 7 minutes 20 seconds. So that'll take me about 3/4 to that 10-minute challenge mark on the box. But yeah, the goal is to at least finish the lap without any milk, ice cream, which now that I think about it, I have to buy because I don't have any ice cream on hand. I want to make sure I have some ice cream on hand. That's supposed to help along with the milk. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I'm like starting to dread it now, but I have to do it because I put a bid goal. I attached a bid goal to it, and we actually met it the first day, thanks to one person. So yeah.
Right, well, good luck with that one then. It sounds like a bit of a raw deal, I think. But yeah, guys, just to help Tusum out and make him feel a little bit better, do make sure that you go and follow his channel and tune in to these stream, particularly the hot chip challenge as well. Yeah, definitely looking at the comments. Dana is definitely excited for this one. But yeah, please guys, you know, if you've got a heart, go and check out Tusum and hit that follow button for him on his Twitch channel. But yeah, Tusum, what can I say? Again, a fantastic job you provided for us here in the SMA, and yeah, thank you so much for your company. Look forward to seeing if you do come back for the next season of the SMA, and yeah, good luck for the near future.
Thanks, Flawed. I appreciate that. And yeah, I mean, in the future, I would like to come back for future seasons. So, you know, I have to rearrange some things on my end, but like I said, this has been absolutely worth it. Last thing I'm gonna say, please help control the box population. Have your boxes crushed and recycled. And I will see you guys sometime in the future.
Thank you, Tusum. And yeah, I can actually announce that our new commentator for the final 2 weeks of the championship will be a guy called Rob G. Barker, who is a Twitch streamer. A very, very good commentator, as Tusum said, and I'm sure you'll absolutely love him from next week. But thank you to Tusum, and hopefully we catch him in next season. But it was Tierna Levitius who romped home to become the winner in round 8 of the MSA Cup. As the championship draws to a dramatic conclusion, what surprises will we have in store for round 9 of the MSA Cup at Monza? Well, we'll have to wait and find out till next week. So make sure you tune into this very channel on YouTube at the Sim Motorsport Association for Monday the 4th of August at 8:40 p.m. Eastern Africa time. But from everyone in the MSA and the SMA production team, a huge thank you for watching. Make sure you hit the like button and hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and we hope to see you next week. I've been your main host, Flawed Genius Gaming, so stay safe out there, have a fantastic week, and it's a goodbye for now. SMA, growing the sport together.